It is Monday when I'm filming this, the start of a new week. And yesterday, Sunday, I was looking at the week ahead and making a meal plan in a grocery list based on what we've got going on. And that got me to thinking about all of the problems and hangups we have with meal planning, what the struggles are with it, why it's difficult to do or to stick with. And I've been on YouTube for about 6.5 years now. So I have not only my own experiences to draw from, but those of my viewers because they leave me comments and let me know what it is that they're struggling with where meal planning is concerned. And typically I find that these problems fall into a handful of categories. Being broke, needing to stick to a budget, being busy, just having things be too hectic to take the time to make a meal plan, being tired or exhausted, being overwhelmed, and being committed, staying committed and sticking with the plan. When I'm filming this, it's also that time of year when people tend to give up on their resolutions.
So you're gonna quit?
Nuh-uh, not really. I'm just gonna stop going.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as Quitters Friday, but apparently it's a thing. It's like the second or third Friday in January when people are like, you know what? I don't want to keep up with these changes. And I know a lot of people have goals or resolutions pertaining to money and budgeting. So instead of giving up on that promise to stick with your meal plan, to make a meal plan, to save money by taking better care of and stewarding the items in your kitchen, I thought I would kind of roll through these problems and give you my thoughts and some solutions pertaining to some of those things so that you can make a meal plan in a way that works for you and stick with it. First, let's talk about some of the problems that arise from meal planning when you're broke. You know, making a meal plan, sticking with it, what to eat, what to cook, how to stock your kitchen when you're on a budget. First off, and I think the most important concept to wrap your brain around, at least in my experience, is that when you are trying to save money, you need to trade some of your time. It takes time to look at the sales that are happening at your grocery stores, to visit multiple grocery stores to get the best deals, to look for the best bargains, to figure out a meal plan where you can use those things that you're purchasing. It just takes a little bit of extra time, you know? So typically when I want to save more money on groceries, I'm gonna have to budget more time for planning. Another thing I've discovered when meal planning on a budget is that variety is a luxury. Sometimes we have to eat the same things because buying things in bulk tends to get us the best price, or just because we're gonna have less options when we're only buying the least expensive, nutritious food that will keep us full and satisfied. Another little tough love tidbit that I know you guys already know is that some lifestyles, when it comes to eating, some diets are just more expensive than others, in my opinion. Keto or low carb, where you're eating lots of animal proteins and dairy, is typically gonna cost more than eating a simple plant-based diet when it's grains, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and oils. So we have to be realistic about that, about the way that we want to eat and the amount of money we're gonna need to budget so that we can make that possible. If you're wondering why I'm walking all over the kitchen, I'm shooting this very much vlog style, just kind of off the cuff, and I'm kind of tidying up the kitchen because I'm getting ready to go and pick up some groceries. But before we head out the door, I do want to get something going in the crock pot for tonight's dinner, which leads me to another point about making a meal plan on a budget. I have said time and time again that one way to save money is to delay going to the grocery store by using up the things that you already have. You've already paid for this food, so making sure that you are being a good steward of the things that you have already purchased and using everything up is a good way to take care of the money that you've already spent. So when I was thinking about what to make for dinners this week and then thinking about other things that I needed to add to my grocery list for breakfast and lunches, I was thinking about what I already had on hand, including something that I could make for dinner tonight that I could get going here in the morning with stuff that I already have on hand and don't need to purchase at the grocery store. I saw this recipe a while back for an easy crock pot chicken pasta and I wanted to try it and I have all the ingredients, so we're gonna get that going. I started by pouring into my crock pot 1 jar of pasta sauce and 1 jar of Alfredo sauce, plus a little bit of water in each jar to shake out whatever was remaining. And no, I am not a fan of jar Alfredo sauce. I'm fine with the regular pasta sauce, but jar Alfredo sauce, not something I use a lot. However, in a recipe like this where there are gonna be lots of other ingredients, I think it's gonna be okay. Then I've got some garlic. I just used up the rest of the garlic from my current jar. I have another one in my grocery order today, plus some Italian seasoning and minced dried onion, about 2 teaspoons of each, and about a teaspoon of red pepper flake. And I stirred that all together here in the crock pot before putting my chicken breast in. You can't see them, but they're in there submerged, about a pound of chicken breast. And I'm getting this going early enough in the day that I can cook it on low, and in about 5 to 6 hours, I'll be ready to come back and shred up the chicken. And then I'm gonna cook up some pasta on the stove, probably about 12 to 16 ounces. I will stir that into the slow cooker with the chicken and sauce mixture, and then add some Parmesan cheese and some mozzarella cheese. And that will be a really easy dinner for any day, but especially grocery shopping day. And it's using up some things that I already have. Being busy can be a huge obstacle to meal planning, because not only do we need to carve out the time to meal plan, we need to make sure we have time to actually make the meals that we planned. I am at Walmart because I'm picking up my groceries this week. I placed a grocery order and I'm letting somebody else do the work of shopping for me since I feel too busy to come in and do it myself. And yes, I do still have to open up the app and put the things in my order that I need, but that's something that I can do while I'm waiting on a kid to finish up a voice lesson or waiting on basketball practice to finish up. Times when I don't really have time to run out to the store, but I do have time to go ahead and put the things in that I need to make some meals for the week. On particularly busy weeks with lots of things in the evenings that take us out of the house, especially during dinner time, I'm going to be thinking about meals that come together in 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to be thinking about how to utilize my crock pot. I'm going to be thinking about how to cook once and eat twice. If I make this shredded chicken for tacos one night, how can I turn it into salads the next night? Or if I'm making beef pot roast, can I turn it into sliders the next night, which is actually something that I did last week. Now, I have not tried this, so I'm hesitant to mention it, but if you have tried it, you can leave a comment down below. It might be worth checking out. I know eMeals is a service that will not only plan your meals, it will then send your grocery list to a grocery store so that you can have the things you need to make those meals. Now, again, this isn't sponsored by them, and I've never tried the service myself, but that is another thing that will not only give you the convenience of like a grocery pickup, it will also help you plan the meals so that you can take some of that work off of your plate in a busy week. And this is also a good time to mention to find a way to record your meal plans from time to time, either, in a spiral notebook or on your computer. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be any super extravagant system. It could even just be jotting down on a Word document what you ate that week and maybe add some links to recipes if you found them online, because that will come in handy down the road. If you have a season that's particularly busy and you already have some meal plans that you worked in other busy seasons, you can just go back and do those things again. Since we're talking about planning in this video, I want to take a minute to thank today's sponsor, Fabric by Gerber Life, because making a plan to secure your family's financial future is one of the most important things you can do. I know it is not a pleasant thing to think about. What would happen to our families if the unthinkable occurs and we are no longer here to care for them? But it is an important thing to think about and take care of, especially if you've got kids. Fabric is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and on your schedule. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. My husband and I are both self-employed, and we have children who are 11, 12, and 15, so it's very important that we secure term life insurance for our family. However, even when we were employed and we had some life insurance through our employers, we got additional policies because sometimes those insurance policies through our employers just weren't enough, or they wouldn't follow us if we left our jobs. And even if you're young and healthy, you're not invincible. Things happen. Now is a good time, if you're young and healthy, to lock in low rates. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that can fit your family and your budget. Plus, there's no risk. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. And Fabric offers more than just life insurance, like free digital wills and investment accounts for your kids' futures that you can manage right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents that trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/cmindymom. That's meetfabric.com/cmindymom, MEET, fabric.com/cmindymom. And thank you again to Fabric for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. When I am making a meal plan, I am often looking at the weather. I've talked about this before, but I'm also looking at our schedule, and we have kind of a weird schedule this week with a few extra things thrown in, and my husband is out of town a night or two for work, so I had to take those things into account when making a meal plan this week. I've already shown you what we're having tonight, Monday. It's the chicken pasta that I'm using the crock pot to make, and tomorrow night I'm gonna need to drive kids to some activities while my husband is gone, so I'm making some chicken minis. I talked about this in my most recent video. It's a quick meal that comes together very easily. My My oldest asked for spaghetti, so I'm gonna make that up on Wednesday night. And it's something that I can also utilize the crock pot to simmer the sauce. I can get that going earlier in the day when I have time. Then when it gets busy in the evening, all I have to do is make up the pasta. On Thursday, we're having homemade chicken noodle soup. All of the kids requested this, which is nice because then I know, or I'm pretty sure, that it's gonna actually get eaten. On Friday, my husband and I have a date night scheduled. So we're going out to a restaurant. So we're gonna pick up some kind of takeout or fast food for the kids that night as well. Maybe some burgers or a pizza or something. And then on Saturday, we're just gonna eat up the leftovers, or it's a fend for yourself night. I always keep, some ramen noodles, some canned soup, or some mac and cheese. My kids are old enough that they can prepare those things themselves, or even, something simple like some scrambled eggs. It's one of those nights when we may not have exactly what we want, like we did the previous night when we went out for dinner, but we'll definitely have something yummy to eat that will nourish us. Another difficulty I've experienced when it comes to making and sticking to a meal plan is being tired or exhausted. And I figured it would be apropos to make my next cup of coffee while we're talking about this particular problem. We all go through those seasons where we're just extra tired. I mean, maybe it's when we've just had a baby, or we have just changed jobs or moved, or it's baseball season, or the kids are sick, or I'm sick. And during these seasons, I have to remind myself to ditch the creativity. Like, this is not the time to try a bunch of new recipes. This is not the time to embark on an entirely different eating style. I guess unless it's been like doctor prescribed, but this is not the time to completely change up the way that I'm eating. These are times when I think about my tried and true recipes that everybody likes, that are always easy to make, and just put those on autopilot, Think about meals that utilize shortcut ingredients, like the one I'm making today with the jar sauces. I didn't make those from scratch. And also I'm using my crock pot, which is doing a lot of the work for me. Of course, using grocery delivery or pickup is also a great thing to be doing during these seasons. I've often said if Walmart had grocery pickup when my babies were babies, that's probably how I would have shopped almost exclusively. Alas, I'm old enough that that was not a thing when my babies were babies. But another thing I've heard people doing on the grocery delivery or grocery pickup services that offer this is hitting the reorder button. Like, they figure out what their essentials are for the week and they just reorder that same thing each week so that they don't even have to think about it. And it's okay to eat the same things for a little while. It's okay if you have the same dinner plan for a few weeks while you're navigating this crazy season. Basically, I'm saying do less. There is so much power in simplifying what we keep on stock in the kitchen, the recipes that we're making, not just the kinds of recipes and making the recipes themselves be easier to put together, but the number of recipes in our arsenal. I said variety is a luxury when you're on a budget, but honestly, when you are tired and you don't have a lot of energy, it's a luxury too. It's something that can go. You can eat the same things. You don't have to have something different every single night of the month, Another problem that has plagued me and challenged me in multiple areas of my life is feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated. I am a person who is easily overstimulated by too many choices because I will sit and ponder what the best choice is and I won't be able to figure it out, and so I'll end up doing nothing and then making no progress.
So I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me.
This is why I recently pared down my wardrobe again. I found myself on so many occasions standing in my closet trying to figure out exactly what to wear that would be perfect for the day's tasks. And then I would think, well, I don't want to wear this because I want to wear this tomorrow. Would it be better for me to save this outfit for later in the week? It was just getting kind of ridiculous. So right after Christmas, I went through my closet and I picked out a couple of pairs of jeans and a couple of pairs of joggers and a few sweaters and sweatshirts. Basically the makings of about 6 to 8 outfits so that I would have fewer choices and thereby be able to make a choice quicker. This is also the reason why I don't keep a ton of things stocked in my kitchen. I know that some people like to keep a stockpile of frequently used items in their pantry or in their basement or in their garage. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have the mindset for it. It's just not a thing that I like to do because I will stand in the pantry and look at all of the stuff available and have a difficult time coming up with a meal to make from it. And that's another reason why I like to do so many pantry and use it up challenges, because my brain can think and function and plan so much easier when I have fewer options to work with. I made, I think, a couple of videos a few years back where I did a capsule meal plan, and I came up with a list of like 20 to 25 ingredients, and then I made as many recipes as I could using just those handful of ingredients. I also made a video about putting together a capsule recipe binder. So instead of making the ingredients be a short list, I only picked 6 or 7 recipes that I made on repeat. I think it was over the summer months when I'm not really that excited about cooking anyway. So that was another way to pare down the choices so that I'm not overwhelmed by my entire library of cookbooks or my entire list of pins on Pinterest with recipes. Another thing that has helped me with this problem in the past, when I've had the money for it, because it does cost a little more money, is to utilize a meal kit service. And I've tried several over the years, Green Chef and HelloFresh and Every Plate. And basically there's a pared down list of meals to choose from that they offer, like 15 to 20 meals, and you choose a few of them and they'll send you everything that you need to make those meals and the recipe. So it can be a good resource for when you're feeling overwhelmed and just don't know what recipes to choose, and it can allow you to try lots of different things so you can find things that you like. The last hang up is being committed, staying true to the plan that we've made. Some of us, and I'm talking to myself here, are really good at making a plan and not always so good at executing it. And you know what? Stuff happens. Sometimes things pop up that make it a necessity to deviate from the plan. And that's why it's a good idea to have, a backup in your kitchen. Maybe some cans of soup in the pantry or some meals in the freezer, something that you can throw together really quickly for when those plans fall through. In fact, the video I put out just before this one, I gave some ideas for meals that you can throw together quickly at home, maybe even run to the grocery store and grab these ingredients really fast so that you don't go through the drive-thru or pick up takeout when the meal plan falls through. But ultimately, if we want to see change happen, whether it's saving money by cooking more at home or sticking to a healthy lifestyle by cooking more of our meals at home, we can't expect change to happen without changing our behavior. We have to do something differently to get different results. So we have to figure out how it is that we can stick to the plan that we've made. And let's face it, we live in an instant gratification world. There is so much available to us right now that it can be really challenging to have to wait for something and to have to admit that sometimes it's about getting what we need and not always getting what we want. Is anything standing in your way when it comes to meal planning? Do you have any meal planning hangups, or do you have any tips and tricks? Do you have any ideas that can help with some of the problems that I mentioned in this video? Leave me a comment and let me know. YouTube thinks you might want to watch one of these videos next, and if so, I'll see you there.